morning.
Morning.
Your reaction to that news?
Very shocking and devastating for the families, and it's right that we don't speculate in terms of the motivations, but also right that we pay tribute to the emergency services for all they did. But for those passengers, the ones directly affected, the ones fighting for their lives, the ones who will suffer the psychological consequences of this being on that train, it must be absolutely devastating.
We don't know anything about the motivations, but we were just talking a little bit about the impact on, if you like, public sentiment. What do you think your constituents are going to feel now about going about their ordinary, everyday business? Are we now about to enter a more anxious period of time?
You can't let these people win, whatever their motivations. I travel on that train all the time. My 18-year-old daughter is due to travel back on that train, up that line, in a few minutes' time. So, but life's got to go on. The reality is whatever the nature of these incidents are, whatever the motivations, they are few and far between. Devastating when they happen, but we've got to carry on, and you can't let these people win. They won't win, of course. I say whatever their motivations, and there may be actions we need to take when we do find out what's happened. But for the moment, we've got to carry on.
All right. It is this morning 1 year on from Kemi Badenoch's victory over Robert Jenrick, and you are now something like 7 points down in the polls from your election result. You're over 10 points behind Reform, and how can I put this politely? Nobody's listening to you. Would you have been better off with Robert Jenrick?
Definitely not. I backed Kemi right from the start. She's the right person to lead the party and the right person to lead the country. The thing about Kemi is she's not willing to fall into the easy trap of telling people what they want to hear. She's going to do the work in terms of making sure we develop policies that are deliverable. That does take time. That is frustrating for everybody. You want to make sure those are the kind of things that do cut through. So the conference that we had recently, when we announced policies in terms of leaving the European Convention on Human Rights so we can stop those boats, control the borders, but also controlling welfare spending so that we can reduce the deficit, reduce the amount of money we're borrowing, but crucially cut taxes like stamp duty, which will have a dynamic effect on the economy. All those things are the right thing to do. We're the only party that is right of centre on the economy. That's the choice that people will make at the next elections. Although the polls are disappointing, I expect those polls to move, and there are some glimmers of hope. We saw a local election result only on Thursday in Huntingdon, which was very competitive, very strongly fought by the key parties, where we won handsomely. So we know we can win. If we get the message right, we get the air campaign right, and we get the ground campaign right, we can win.
Are you reckoning that you might do well next May, then?
I hope we'll do well. Our intention is to do well.
You may be the only person in the country who thinks that's going to be the case.
I don't think that's right. There's lots of optimism amongst the party, the people who are on the ground. We are seeing a change. I think the conference was a key moment, and I think that key moment went very well. We are seeing Kemi's personal popularity improving on the back of that. So, listen, we will not be where we need to be next May, but we hope to have made progress from where we were this May.
But look, here's I guess, your problem. Labour has lost pretty much half its support from last July, but July 24. But the people who are deserting Starmer aren't coming to Kemi Badenoch. They're going to Nigel Farage and Reform, to Zach Polanski and the Greens. And probably, if Mr Corbyn ever gets his act together, some of them will go off to him. What is it that you're doing wrong?
Well, it depends who you talk to. Some of the people who voted, I saw the survey on that, some of the people who voted for Labour last time are coming to Conservatives. There's not undoubtedly more when we go into the other parties. That would be a nature of those kind of people's political philosophy. But the people we really want to speak to are the true Conservatives that have lost faith in us. And I understand why they did. We had many successes in 14 years, but we failed on some very important issues, particularly on migration and not controlling welfare spending, those things particularly. But we need to make sure that people understand that Kemi is a completely different type of leader. She's a very strong leader, and that's the reason I backed her. I worked for her minister in Department of Business and Trade. She means what she says, and she says what she means.
On the, if you like, the issue that people have been talking about this week, the royal story, do you think that Andrew Mountbatten Windsor should be removed from the line of succession? And would the Conservative Party support such a parliamentary motion?
So my view on this, I mean, Andrew's 8th in line to succession of the monarchy. Parliament's got many better things to do than to legislate for something that will never happen. Andrew will never become the king of this country. So why would we spend time doing that? I'd rather do things that are really important to people in Parliament. That's why you go into politics, to try and fix things for people. Cost of living, making sure we have that strong economy, those strong borders that we've set out to make sure we have. So those are the kind of things that I'd like to see this government focusing on, and certainly us as an opposition focusing on as we move forward.
One last question, really, which is more, if you like, a broad question. One of the key pillars of Conservative belief is the strength of British institutions. Many of the institutions that the party prided itself on preserving and supporting, I'm thinking about the church, I'm thinking about support for strong borders, elite universities, now the monarchy, have all suffered a real decline in their popularity, support, and significance. Is the Conservative Party the next establishment domino to fall?
I don't think so at all. I think our message is people, at the end of the day, the facts of life are conservative. I think we are principally a conservative country. So I think it's fair to say we lost sight of some of those values in recent years. I think we've got a leader now that believes in those values and will stick to those values when we govern. That's the most difficult bit. But Kemi's strong. She's got the backbone we need as a leader in this country. And I think you can see what happens when you don't have a leader with that kind of backbone. I really think that the message that we have, the values we hold, are the right ones for the British people.
Kevin Hollinrake, thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you, Trevor.